All right, traders, let's jump into our daily market recap and trade recap for Friday, July 14th, 2023. And let's take a look at the markets. So here we've got, let's actually start with SPY here. Take a look where we are on SPY. Was another update early on and then just faded off a little bit to close, pretty much unchanged, a fraction down on the day. So SPY closing at 449, that elusive 450 level right now. Let's see where we end up with. Something to take a look though when we're looking at the daily. We talked about it a couple times already, but man, you are right in the upper end of this gray little Bollinger Band here, and you are really close to this 3 ATR here. So you are very overdone on the chart itself. However, when we take a look at MACD, it's just starting to break positive. So MACD has some momentum. I moved RSI to a different chart here, but it is over the 75 mark and starting to turn over. And these recent highs of yesterday and today are not the same RSI level as we had before. I pointed this out yesterday in the video. I'm not saying there's cracks on anything or that we should be necessarily concerned, but it's getting a bit toppy out there, and you don't have some of the underlying momentums. You are getting oversold on stochastic momentum as well. However, again, MACD says we can go higher. The markets look like they're doing fine. Could we use a pullback? Absolutely. When we look over here, and you've got a pretty good multi-week and month rally. So we've been going up almost nonstop since the middle of March here, without a real pause. You had a little bit in here the last couple of weeks. There's been some mixture, but pretty strong. So the weekly staying overbought on RSI. Again, the weekly RSI, you're not seeing new highs in RSI. That's a concern for me here. I'm not saying we're crashing, but a pullback could definitely be in the cards. On SPYs, take a look at the Qs. Similar looking setup here. Again, look at this candle, a pretty extended wick way up at the top here. We closed well off the highs of the day and closed down just a fraction on the day. Same thing here. We are not seeing the same high in RSI. It's not as bad as the recent ones, but not quite seeing the same RSI, but MACD popping through, but not really time to get long with MACD above the zero line like this. Lots of crazy stuff going on out there. I think you can pick and choose a lot of stuff. And if you've been trading for, I don't know, the last week or two, you've probably made a boatload. If you're bullish and you just threw a dart at a dartboard, you probably are up. Let's take a look at IWM, which has been pretty strong and looking good. This one closed down a bit today. So we were down almost a percentage point today in IWM. Nothing to be concerned about necessarily, but it may be trying to hold this little previous resistance, now support level. We'll see what happens in here, getting awfully frothy at the top of this 3 ATR and the Bollinger Band here, and tipping over a bit on RSI and MACD, and not quite yet on stochastic momentum on the daily, but a little bit of a tip over. A pullback would be healthy, back to the 21 EMA or something like that. I'm not calling for the end of the world to happen here. Let's take a look at oil. Oil continues to do pretty well. We did have a little bit of a pullback in oil today. I mean, look at this run. It has just been a solid 3-week run with almost no downside action. So today had a pretty decent little downside action, getting some reversal in MACD, RSI dropping in here. We kind of telegraphed it a bit yesterday that maybe getting a little frothy. We're well above the Bollinger Band yesterday and pretty close to that 3 ATR and the 200 EMA. All reasons to see a little bit of pullback in oil. Nothing earth-shattering. But you will also notice too that the 21 EMA today crossed the 50 EMA, another pretty bullish sign for oil. So oil doing well. If we take a look at gold here again on the weekly, turning up, making a move, RSI moving higher above the 50 mark, which is a positive. Then you've also got MACD reversing higher and stochastic momentum reversing higher. So really good looking reversal on gold. Gold looks really good right in here. And if we get in here on the dailies on gold, we'll try to tighten in a little bit. Decent, but maybe a little overdone. But, you had some tightness in the Bollinger Band here. Might be just starting to open up a bit. We'll see what happens with gold. But gold looks good on a weekly and looks decent here on a daily chart. Bonds, which have been a lot of the talk lately, have been in this downtrend. It really had been tailing off for quite a few weeks now. But this week, a pretty good bounce on bonds. We've been looking at potentially jumping into TLT or TMF down in here. I think those are fantastic plays for the next year. I think getting long TLT and long TMF are really good, solid plays. You've got a PSAR reversal yesterday, followed through up to this downtrend line. Didn't quite make it, finished it low at the day near the 21 EMA. Nothing critical on bonds, still a fairly bullish or a good opportunity to get in. If you believe the Fed's pretty close to being done, I see no reason for bonds not to start rallying higher if the Fed's not going to raise rates anymore. And I don't think we have much left in the Fed. Maybe one more rate cut's coming. A lot of indicators saying maybe you shouldn't, but they'll probably do one more rate cut. And I think that's probably going to do it. Which means bonds should be free to start running higher. We'll take a quick look at the dollar as well. I want to hit up on that. So the dollar had been just gapping down every single day, the dollar dropping. Today got a little bit of a bounce at these lows on the dollar. We'll see what happens if the dollar starts to stabilize in here, but it has absolutely been getting crushed lately on the dollar. And when the dollar falls, gold starts to rise. Other things start to move higher on a weaker dollar. So that's where we're seeing maybe some price movement higher on the dollar. So we'll see what happens between the dollar and bonds. I'm going to jump into Amazon today. Had a pretty big up day going, which of course is where I closed out of my covered calls at the highs of the day, which were expiring today. So I didn't get assigned anything. And of course, then it tailed off and probably cost myself several $100 at least on that timing move. So I closed at the exact, top ticked the exact high of the day to close my short calls, my short covered calls. It's okay. Opened up new ones for next week on my synthetic long position. The underlying synthetic stock long far outgained any losses on that. That position is up well over $10,000 on 3 contracts in the last, I think, 105 days on that. So fantastic on Amazon. I'm going to hit just a couple other quick stocks, and then I'm going to jump into just our account. Take a look at Carvana here. You've got some pretty long wicks the last 3-4 days where it's run up and then buyers couldn't keep it up. People sold, took profit, ran up, took profit, ran up, took profit. You've got MACD rolling over a bit here, RSI potentially turning over. And the RSI, look at that divergence on RSI, if you would, in here from the highs from here. As we move down, you are seeing RSI dropping on each of these new highs on Carvana. I don't like the stock anyway. I think it's a ridiculous move up. The fact that this thing goes from like $2 up to $40, absolutely an asinine move on this. So I would be looking right now to potentially put on like a credit spread. I don't know that I'm shorting anything here. Credit spread, it's defined risk. You know, if stupidity continues to be the word of the day, it may go higher. If not, I would think Carvana could drop a bit here. There was a couple other stocks that we took a look at. I don't trade a lot of stock because exactly for these reasons. I don't like Carvana and some of these other ones. Take a look at Tesla today. It's really struggling with this resistance area here on the daily. It can't break through it. Tried again today, bumped it, fell back. You still have an ascending triangle. I still think with MACD moving up, RSI moving up, stochastic momentum moving up, and an ascending triangle, that this thing can still move higher. So I think as long as we can break this move, which would be the high of the day, somewhere around 285. Got to break 285 for Tesla to keep itself pushing higher. If we take a look at coin, out there as well, has been another one that's just been on an absolute tear for several weeks now. On this, it's gone from about 50 to 100. So this has been a double. If you've been in it, fantastic. I just don't know that this is a spot that I want to get in coin. I don't see any reason for this thing to have doubled like it is. Yes, there's some news from the SEC on some of the rulings on Bitcoin, some of the other things. So I think there's some real positives on coin. I do like it. Do I like it at 100 when it was at 50 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Not so much, but you never know. Another Nvidia type of a move where things are just overly done. Nvidia did spike up more today and then closed on the lows of the day, but broke through to another high today. So Nvidia just continues to move up. But similar things, if you're looking at RSI, here's a high. Okay, that is not an uptrend channel on Nvidia. From here to here, RSI is not making new highs on this up move. Again, I'm not saying that we're crashing or going down. These are some things to take a look at as you look at some trades over the weekend. If you want to take a look at some other things, you can plug them in. But I think those are some of the major movers out there. Disney's been mentioned a bit lately. It's in this down descending triangle. Will it break through here, which is the previous support that's been holding up at 87? We'll see. It's going to give it another run, but I could use this to move itself higher. So if it bounces off this support, you get a PSR bullish signal here. You don't have, on these down moves, you don't have RSI getting lower on the down move. You have it not getting as low, which means there's a good chance of potentially Disney making that higher. So that may be something that you'll want to watch. Costco looks beautiful in here, making some new highs, potentially not all-time new highs, but new recent highs, breaking through the previous high from a week or so ago. Good RSI movement, MACD, stochastic momentum, everything moving higher with a PSR reversal bullish signal today. So without further ado, let's jump into our trades for today and see what we did. So on the day, we ended the day with a delta of minus 161, which is 0.06%, totally fine in our portfolio, pretty delta neutral with a little bit of a negative bias, which is perfect going into this weekend. Theta ticked up a bit. We did add some trades today. We're up to 785 on Theta, which is about a 0.28%, still about that 0.3-ish area that we've been in for weeks now. NetLick ticked up a tad today. The reason NetLick has just not been moving is we're at these highs, which is not healthy for our strangles. We've also got livestock trade, cattle trade that is getting a little frothy and testing our calls. And then we also have a euro trade strangle, which has also been moving up, testing our strangle as well. So those three trades really kind of keeping a lid on our NetLick right now. But while that's all happening, we're still making money. So we had another small $113 gain today, but that puts us at $5,010 for the week. Fantastic week, really great week. We're now up $8,161 on the month now. So in 8 trading days, we're up $8,000 on the month. Totally happy with that. We're almost at our 3% realized income goal for the month, with half the month still to go. As far as the net lick is moving, that's a little bit slower because of some of the values that we're seeing in some of our strangles, but we're still up, about 1.5% at the halfway point. So I'm pretty happy with where we are on all numbers, and our BP usage dropped again today a little bit further down. Let's take a look at the 3 trades that we had on. So here's the first trade. This Amazon covered call was looking good until today, and then it really pushed through it pretty high. I closed at the high of the day, took a bigger loss than anticipated, but the underlying moved up, so it's all good on Amazon. But that was a losing trade, lost $840 on that one. And then on oil, we had another oil strangle, closed today at a 50% winner, 51% roughly, in 23 days, took in $740 on that trade. So another great winner on our futures strangles. And then we have a 112 trade in futures on corn. And what we did today was we actually took off the naked puts on the today 4.125 on that. So we locked in a gain of 90% on this trade in 53 days. So we've got a little bit, about 7 days to go on this trade. If corn tanks and jumps into the put debit spread, we'll make even more money. But overall, good day, great month so far, up nicely, over $8,000 in gains for the month so far, 81.59, 17 winners, 1 loser. That was today on Amazon, which was a covered call. And I'm all good with covered calls being losers. All right, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Happy trading, and we'll see you guys next week. Again, if you like these videos, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you are not a subscriber to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and post in comments anything you'd like to give feedback on. I'll do my best to respond. And we'll see you guys either in the Discord channels or on Facebook, Twitter, any of those places, or here on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.